Hi, people.
Hello. We were on hiatus. We apologize. And we got a new set.
We're just waiting for all this stuff to come, basically.
Yeah, and life.
Life. What is life?
Well, we each have 2 children and spouses and,
Jobs and God knows what else.
Yeah, all the rest of it. But
Traumas.
We did get to the strip club. We were at the strip club the 29th and 30th of August.
Seems such a lifetime ago.
Well, it is October 10th today, so it's been a moment. But I wanted to do the first recollection of the strip club because I had never. Have you ever played in a strip club before?
No, never played in. I've not been to a strip club in about 10 years.
And I hadn't been in 20 years.
Which strip clubs aren't my kind of thing because, like I told Katie, the last time I went to a strip club, my little girl was just born. And it just ruined it for me.
That's somebody's baby.
I was just literally looking at like all these people lecturing at these girls, like that's somebody's baby girl. I don't like this.
Yes.
It's not my kind of thing.
It's definitely different.
And then you stood at the bar, and obviously they want your business, and there's these like young girls in their 20s like come up talking to you in underwear. And I'm just like,
because you're in your 40s now.
Yeah, I'm 41.
Yeah.
I'm feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Married with kids, and it's like,
yeah. No, it was definitely a lot. I'm really glad we did it. I have no regrets about doing it.
How did you feel doing it?
It was a really tough go because I'm 42 and, in perimenopause, and so things are redistributing.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I hadn't really put together what I had done because I got us the gigs.
Yeah, you did.
I was the one who got us the gigs. And that was
you
fun.
got us the gigs.
But like I didn't really realize psychologically what that would do to me. And I crashed out. I really did. I had a good crash out after that weekend.
And I forget, like, we're in a band with, there's like 4 guys and a female. Like, I forget you're a woman sometimes.
And you're not the only one who's ever said that. Oh, I forget. Because I do.
Not that you're not female. It's just because we're surrounded by guys. And
surrounded by guys, but also my humor. And I've been told that my humor can be really gritty. And I do enjoy, not inappropriate jokes, but I love innuendo and I love that sort of stuff. And I make dirty jokes. Like, I'm the first one to be like, tell me a dirty joke. But I think that sometimes men forget that I'm a woman, and I'm like, no, I very much am.
Yeah, no, like I have to be mindful of something. Not that I talk like that anyway, but you just, when you're in a band with 4 other guys and there's a female there, you just forget, and it's just, I think we all forget, and we're all at the strip club, and you're poor thing. You're sat there with us with like guys, and there's like, God knows how you must have felt. You must have felt.
Well, I actually did. I wrote some threads about it because I'm on Threads, Instagram Threads. So did you want to read it or did you want me to read it? I did 2. I did 2 threads. There were about 6 parts each, one for night 1 and then one for night 2. And then I did a 3rd thread afterwards about me completely imploding psychologically from being at a strip club and the body dysmorphia that came up and like the self-esteem crash. It was a really interesting situation.
Experience?
Absolutely. I do not regret it. It was, at moments, it was very painful, but I do not regret doing it. And I certainly wouldn't say that I would never do it again. It was just...
I felt a bit uneasy in there. It was a weird place to play a gig, like, just for, like, obviously we'll let you guys know that we were outside, playing outside in, like, the courtyard. And then everybody else, obviously the dancers were inside, but it was still a bit of it was a weird gig.
Very weird. The clientele weird. It's the only strip club on Vancouver
strip
Island.
Club clientele.
Well, yeah, but it's the only strip club on Vancouver Island. So like we were kind of chuffed to be able to go and do it, and that's kind of fun. But yeah, it was different.
And back-to-back nights are a lot, aren't they?
They are. And then you said at the end of our last set on the 2nd night, you had mentioned how many mistakes I had made. Not cruelly. I had made a ton of mistakes in that last set because I was fatigued. It was 2 nights.
We all made mistakes.
It was like, woo. And I could tell by that last set I was so fatigued. And I kept doing like the second verses of songs first.
Sorry, did I point out loads of mistakes? That's really bad.
Did.
Sorry.
No. I wasn't offended in any way, shape, or form.
You did this and you did that.
No, you were just
do it again.
No, you were like, wow, that was a lot of mistakes for you, Katie. And I was like, yeah, it really was.
That sounds so passive aggressive.
But it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be. And then I started laughing too because the night of September 27th, we had another gig at a casino, and I was wearing a really low cut top, and I walk in, and Jimmy's like, "Oh, Katie, I'm not going to be able to look you in the eyes tonight. Can't find your eyes."
I'm gonna look with my 15 pieces of flair and my boots.
Yeah, I was a bit taken aback a bit, you know. It's like, whoa.
I walked in, I was like, I'm just gonna do this. You have no idea. The friggin' stilettos that I bought and the outfits that I'm doing for that is like, I don't even know if I'm gonna wear any of
I
those
don't know.
outfits in public.
I say it to Sarah all the time. I don't know how you guys do it, like dancing in those high shoes and stuff. Like Sarah can do it as well, but it's like I just want to wear flat shoes.
I love, that's half the reason why I go to my exercise class twice a week. My aerobics class
Mm.
is because I want to be able to have the stamina and the strength to stand up in stilettos for 3 or 4 hours and entertain people.
Don't you just want to wear like a pair of Converse and just be comfortable for once?
No.
Oh, it'd be so nice.
No.
I can't imagine like you hear like this all the time.
I love it. I'm 5'1", you're 6 foot.
I know, but still, it's like I should just do a gig wearing high heels. So it's like,
I'm gonna read the 2 threads that I did just for, and then you can comment on them, because when you first read them, you're like, I didn't remember half of this happening, and I was like, where the hell were you? Okay, my first gig at a strip club. I will be 42 in 2 weeks. I'm now 42. I knew the dancers would be in their 20s, so I thought, what would Adele do in this regard? Like, I'm a size 12, 14. These women are 22 and a size fucking 00, and I've had 2 children, and I like kind of knew, but it didn't. The reality didn't hit me till later. What would Adele do? She'd keep it classy, so I wore classy dresses, and I realized that I'm not in competition with any of these other 20-year-old women because that would be stupid. My band is all male. They all arrived early, and within 30 minutes, they knew all of the dancers by name, and I laughed so fucking hard at that.
that's because
There's a valid reason for this.
We got there early to set up. There was literally nobody else in the bar.
There were 4 patrons in the bar.
Okay, they were sat at,
in the corner in pervert row.
So basically, obviously, there's loads of guys show up, like 4 guys, and they're going to come and talk to us and like try and drum up business. So we're the band, I'm Jimmy, like, yeah. That's how they knew my name. I wasn't going around introducing myself to all the dancers. But anyway.
Sure, Jim. Yeah. Sure. So because I was with four guys, I'm the only woman in this band. I got to hear all sorts of things about each of their preferences for women. And that was the shocking part to me. There is no rhyme or reason to what you guys like. Like Jay was gaga over a woman with half a shaved head and dreadlocks and like full tattoos. And then James doesn't like anybody with tattoos. And Ian really liked the nerdy girls with the glasses. And then you guys were sitting there and I was observing it all, right? And I wasn't offended in any way. I really was leaning in to listen.
And again, we have like stuff like that. Like
it's totally individual preference on a whim.
I know, but I even like looking back at that now, it feels a bit inappropriate that we all had that conversation. Yeah, I don't know. It does to me.
No. I was not at all feeling uncomfortable. I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And you guys were going to talk about it. And none of you were derogatory in any way to these women. That wasn't what it was. You were literally saying like, wow, look at the curves on her. I like her muscles. I like her tattoos. I like her hair. I like this. It wasn't rude. It wasn't inappropriate. It wasn't derogatory. It was just really interesting. Your individual preferences changed on a whim, and they changed from woman to woman. You all found something attractive about that one woman. And then somebody else would be like, yeah, but I don't like that. So to me, because as a woman, we're really conditioned to only see beauty standards through the eyes of this very small Eurocentric lens of you must be thin, you must be hairless, you must be blonde, you must be blue-eyed. Like it's really, really this tiny little lens that women are taught to try and be. And then listening to the 4 of you talk about it, none of that fucking mattered.
No, but it's weird because you look at that, like that's seen as the norm now, like women to be skinny. But you look at like the 20s and the 30s, and women with curves were seen as
not the 20s and the 30s, but it was the 40s and the 50s.
That's when the women with the curves were seen as that was the ideal body type.
Yes, the flappers were the 20s, and that was a very boyish figure with no curves and a flat chest. I would not have been popular in the 20s. But when you look at Marilyn Monroe, who was popular in the 50s, it was very curvaceous. It was very much the womanly figure.
I'd love to know how it's gone around. Obviously, everything's cyclical anyway, like fashion and stuff. But I wonder.
Yes.
I'd love to know why. Obviously, it's like a societal change. But
the other thing I did was I ended up looking through Reddit when I was having my emotional friggin' crash out, my self-esteem crash out. I wanted to see what other things were happening, in the world. So I went down a Reddit rabbit hole.
Okay.
And it was about other strippers that were curvy girls like me who were trying to get jobs in the United States. And it was really fascinating. You could be any color woman, But in order to make any money as a stripper in the United States, you would need to go to a black strip club, because in a black strip club, any body type is appreciated, and even the curvy girls can make money. In white strip clubs, they only want that Eurocentric size 0 woman. So the curvy women aren't going to make money. And I was like, isn't that another fascinating part of our society, et cetera,
that kind of makes sense, because like every time I don't go to many strip clubs. Every time I've only been to white strip clubs, and they're all basically what you explained. It's
all the same thing. It's all these tall, size 0 women, and that's fine, but it's not reality either. Every one of my guitarists and my bassist has a wife. We sit down and we watch several dancers do amazing pole tricks. These women are friggin' athletes. Our bassist bought his son a lap dance, and the poor kid is 21 and was like, no, I'm cheating. And I was like, you're not. What? That was a weird thing.
She said she liked my outfit.
Right? And you're like, no, she likes you for your money.
She likes your cash, your cold hard cash.
Yeah. Then your wife showed up on night 1 with a girlfriend, and Amy handed me a drink. And
they
I was
were loving it.
Oh, she was so cute. She says, here, I got you a drink. And I was like, oh, thanks for buying me a drink. She goes, no, I didn't buy you a drink. This guy bought you a drink. And I was like, what do you mean this man bought me a drink? So the guy, his name was Adam, came up to Amy and said, can I buy you a drink? And Amy's like, I'm married. If you're going to buy me a drink, you have to buy all my girlfriends a drink. So he said, fine.
Amy's great like that.
So he bought Amy a drink and your wife a drink and me a drink. And I was like, sweet. And the next thing we know, Amy's like, have you ever had a lap dance, Katie? And I said, no, I've never had a lap dance. She goes, awesome. This guy's going to buy us a lap dance. And I was like, what? So this man, he paid for Amy, who's married. Your wife's married to you. I'm married. The 3 of us.
God knows what that must have cost him.
$160.
What a waste of money.
$160 for 3 married women to watch a 4th married woman, because the stripper who was stripping for us was also married. Her name was Ginger. Anyway, so Ginger finds out that I have never had a lap dance, and all of a sudden her body's in my face. And it's very warm. I enjoyed it very much. But they disappeared for a minute. She's like, I don't start the clock until you guys pay the money. And I was like, okay, pay the money. But this guy, Adam, was paying. And I was like, oh, you're going to have to cover me, Sarah, because I don't have any cash. It's with the band. And Sarah goes, no, you're not paying anything.
Adam will pay her.
And he was. So he disappeared with this stripper, and they were gone for 10 minutes. And I was like, what the hell? He comes back. He's like, sorry, it took me a minute. We went to the ATM. The ATM machine was not working. So he went to his buddy at the bar and asked his buddy for $100. His buddy didn't have $100. So his buddy tapped his dad on the shoulder.
Oh my God, it gets worse.
And said, Dad, do you have $100 for Adam? Because Adam's buying a lap dance for 3 married ladies. So 3 different men paid $160 for 3 married women to watch a 4th married woman take her clothes off. And literally, Jimmy, we were sitting there, and the 4 of us women could have been swapping casserole recipes. And this man is just sitting in the room with us. And I was like, this is the most bizarre thing I've ever.
Who's this guy?
Why would you do? And it was 3 minutes. He paid $160 for 3 minutes.
What a waste. Do you know how many? I could get a really nice boutique pedal for $160.
I just want to know why men think that they're the most intelligent, logical ones when they're paying money for that. Like, what?
Exactly.
Doesn't make any sense.
Stupid idea. I wouldn't be paying that.
No. So, yeah, it was interesting.
I'd rather put the money in the bank.
Basically. Oh, my goodness. So that was the first thread that I was telling you about, and it was funny. And then let me go to the second one, because I had one more.
How did you actually get that gig? Did you just contact JJ's or the venue? Sorry.
So I had emailed everybody with our friggin' band email account and got nothing. And I noticed that some of the other bands that are on the circuit in our community had played there. So I saw that on Facebook and ended up messaging the club through social media. And she phoned me and offered me the gig. She phoned me, offered me the gig, told me the money. I said yes. She goes, I'll call you back. She never called me back. I messaged her. I called her. Nothing. I went away to Vancouver for a week with my family. She calls me while I'm on the highway. She's like, do you still want that gig? And I was like, yeah, I didn't think it was happening. She goes, no, you're booked. And I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, we'll take it. So we took back-to-back gigs. But then that was the lady who told me her name and told me that there were 2 managers. And the whole night she was blitzed.
Maybe let's edit that bit out so we don't.
It doesn't friggin' matter. Anybody. It doesn't matter. It's friggin' hilarious.
I don't understand why like it was never like this back in England. Why do they want you to play back-to-back nights? What's that all about? Like, why? Who wants to see a cover band 2 nights in a row? I mean, some people do, but
I don't know.
and to play for 4 hours, like people in England blow the mountains. Oh, how long do you play for? Like 4 1-hour sets. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Because in England it's like 2 45 minutes and that's it.
And do they have like back-to-back bands?
No, they don't do back-to-back nights generally.
No, but I mean bands, like that night, do they have like a bunch of bands coming through? Or just
they maybe have 1 or 2, but no, generally you'll do like an hour set, 2 hours, 2 1-hour sets at the most, and that'll be it.
and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's like that here then. I don't know. So I didn't tell you. That's enough. That's good.
Okay.
It's beautifully ridiculous for a reason, Katie.
Yeah.
I went to Whistle Stop on Tuesday night because my husband's coworker is a guitar player and a very fantastic guitar player.
Is that the guy you did the Black Keys song with?
Yes.
Yeah.
Trillin. His name is Trillin. He's a lovely fellow. Really good looking. 10 years younger, never mind. Anyway, he was playing the Whistle Stop, so I went. The bartender recognized me. And she was like, Are you? And I was like, I'm a musician. She's like, Are you playing tonight? I was like, No, I'm not playing tonight. She goes, Do you want to play? Like I thought, and I was like, No. And then she started talking about the owner, and she's like, I was there that night. I walked by him talking to you like that. And I was like, Yeah, that's why I haven't been back.
Yeah, it's
because he was a total prick to me and decided he was gonna like say all sorts of derogatory things to me. And I was like, never mind.
You relayed the story to James, and James was really upset. It's like, fuck that guy.
I could see the color in James's face like rush up as I relayed the story about what this 80-year-old club owner said to me.
He would have never spoken to any of the 4 of the guys like that.
Ever. It was
awful.
Not only that, but then he said to me a couple of things. He was like, You're a 5-piece. He's like, Yeah. I said, Yeah, I'm a 5-piece. He goes, Yeah, that's too many people. You need to cut one of your guitarists. I was like, I'm not cutting a guitarist. I'm a 5-piece.
Too many people for him because he wants to pay us less. That's why.
And then he's like, Okay, so how much are you going for? And I was like, Well, how much you're offering? I heard you're offering like $800-900 a night, which is kind of the going rate in our community. And he's like, Yeah, how about 50 a night? And I was like,
Yeah, no thank
I
you.
looked at him and I was like, I'm not even going to bring that to the guys in my band because that's not even remotely no. And he's like, Well, I guess I could do $100 a night, but I'd rather not. I'm like, We're all making 150 a night, so perhaps not at all. And I basically
and we've not played there since.
We have not played there since. And I will not go back.
We don't have to play the Whistle Stop. There's plenty of other places to play.
Exactly. No, exactly. So when I saw this bartender on Tuesday night, she'd mentioned the guy's name and she goes, He's such an asshole. She goes, That's why I work the nights that he's not in. Like, the place is a dive bomb. It's held together with duct tape. Like, it's awful.
I don't know.
And it doesn't have to be awful if he actually got out of his own way.
I don't think that I've been in Courtney since 2012, and I don't think that place has changed at all. It's got the same furniture.
It hasn't changed in 45 years, babe.
It's a dumper, isn't it?
It's 45 years of being a dump. I don't think the carpets have ever been cleaned.
They used to do really good wings there. The wing night used to be awesome. Remember wing night? At the
I never went to wing night.
So it used to be packed.
Never did. It was really packed for the open jam. I was surprised. There was no parking. I was like, whoa, that's weird. But I think it could be a smoke and business opportunity if he got out of the way. He's 80 and he still wants to run it as if it's the 70s and 80s in his heyday. And business is not like that.
Times change, people. Things move.
Get out of your own friggin' way. Oh my God.
We all have to, what's the word? Deviate from certain norms sometimes because things change.
They do. But we have a couple more gigs coming up, and we've played the casino up north twice. We have 2 more gigs at the up north casino. We have 1 gig at the south casino, and I'd like this upcoming gig at the south casino to roll into more. So plus we have another Halloween gig.
Yeah, it's weird because like you look at the calendar sometimes and you think, oh, we've just got 1 gig, but then we seem to be picking up these gigs all the time, and it's like
just
slowly catching monkeys, they say.
I'm catching monkeys. I like that.
Yeah.
That's very good.
I don't know where that came from.
It doesn't matter.
But yeah, no, things seem to be starting to. I remember this with my original music's different, but it was always so hard at first trying to get those first gigs and get your name out there and just bugging people, and then
sorry, go ahead.
And then eventually you're not even booking gigs; people are calling you.
So I've had 3 of the bigger bands in our circuit start following me on social media. And then the Chamber of Commerce started following me yesterday. And I'm like, why the hell is my local Chamber of Commerce following me?
Maybe they want you on the panel.
I have no idea. But I also have, tomorrow I start my job with the Jazz Society. I'm going to be the booking agent for the Jazz
I forgot
Society.
about that.
Yeah. So
How do you feel about that?
I feel fine. So the reason why I took it is not for the pay. It's a nonprofit society.
Just to get out of the house.
Get out of the house. But I wanted to start. I wanted to start making a name for myself and rubbing shoulders with people and just getting into the industry so people knew who I was. Hobnobbing for sure, absolutely hobnobbing and seeing where I can go and making those types of connections. And further to that, the Jazz Society has a list of pre-approved acts that have already been there with them. So all I really have to do is contact those acts and place them in the calendar. I'm not seeking out talent. The talent is already on a list for me.
So you're not negotiating prices and stuff?
I'm not negotiating any prices. Everything's already done. I'm
offering $50 for a night.
Don't even friggin' not even know. Anyway, so it's going to be fun. And we have lots more, and you can see that on our sister channel. Mimic is our band, and that's where we're at, I think.
So with this, so who are you booking? Like, what venues are you booking for the jazz thing?
Oh no, it's at 40 Knots the Winery.
Oh, it's there. Okay.
So they've changed their business model. From April to October, they're going to be at the winery, and that will be professional jazz musicians.
Sorry I keep interrupting.
That's
so
okay.
They don't want any like bands playing the Scorpions or anything like that?
No, they're strictly jazz. They're strictly jazz.
No,
so April to October, they're going to have professional acts out at the winery, and then October through April in the winter months, they're going to move it to the Mex and have a jam session. So it's an open jam night every Thursday night. No, maybe it's just the 2 Thursday nights at the Mex.
An open jazz jam.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be interested.
Well, I'm going to be there in any capacity because I have to be now.
Well, our other guitarist, he can play anything, but I'm sure he does all that stuff. But I cannot play jazz guitar.
It was funny. So we're at rehearsal on Monday. Jimmy couldn't make it, but James had done a bunch of prep for Thriller, the Michael Jackson tune, and then we all realized how much jazz is in it, and James was like, "Oh God." Jazz chords are like,
which like I was looking at the chords yesterday, and I said to Jim, this must have been written on the piano, which obviously was because the guy that wrote it was a keyboard player. But it's just the jazz chords are insane.
Yeah, and all these weird things that you're supposed to do with your fingers.
And sometimes you can get away with playing simplified like major and minor chords. But with songs like Thriller, you can't. No. It just doesn't sound right.
No, it's a jazzy. It has to be jazz.
So you can't play power chords, unfortunately. The good old 3-string chords.
The 80s hair metal, power chords, 3 chords, great time.
But no, so we're working on some stuff for Halloween. And then we've got a New Year's Eve gig, which should be good.
I'm so excited about the New Year's Eve gig. It should be fun.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I still think we're going a bit cheap for New Year's Eve, but I mean, still, that's a lot of money.
That's our first New Year's Eve gig.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's our first New Year's Eve gig, and I think subsequent ones we can absolutely say, no, we need money.
I just don't want to it's just hard because you don't want people to think, oh, this is their price and this is what they've gone out for, so they should go for this in future. Do you know what I mean?
Well, New Year's Eve is sort of a specific kind of night, where you can ask for the money for that. But I was thrilled that Jay, the one on November 1st, the price keeps getting added to.
I don't know why it keeps going up. That's great. But yeah,
no, I'm happy with that. You can
stuff,
keep
Jay.
adding money
buddy.
to my paycheck. Yeah. I'm okay with that. Anyway.
It'd be interesting to see what that Bowser gig like, because we're playing in a community hall, and community halls don't tend to be acoustically treated.
Oh, most of the places we go to are not going to be acoustically.
Which is weird because when we played at JJ's, we were playing on this
platform.
Yeah, but it was with a tin roof, and I thought, oh God, this is going to sound awful. But the sound there was amazing.
It was really
loud,
good.
but it was just full. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was really good.
And funny enough, the loudest thing that night was the bass guitar, and then the bass guitar was telling us we need to turn down for the next gig. He's like, Jay, you were the loudest at the last gig. He's like, yeah, because you guys kept telling me to turn up. So it doesn't matter. You were still loudest, so don't you be telling us to turn it down.
No, it was a good time.
No, it was great. Yeah,
it was just fun.
It was good to hear the bass cut through, because sometimes it gets so muddy, and it's just like
it was muddy on the 27th at the casino.
Yeah,
it was muddy. I'm not really sure what was happening. I don't know.
We were all squashed on that stage as well. It's going to be better at the casino and corner. Yeah, because we can we don't have to all be on the stage. We can use the floor and stuff because it's uncomfortable when you just.
Yes.
I like to move around.
Well, you and I like to move around and really be bombastic.
Yeah, I just like to
put on a show,
just
right?
do my own thing. Yeah,
that's very much what we like to do. But then we have a tendency of crashing into one another.
Yeah, that's never good, is it? And like catching my guitar in your hair. I think I've done that once. I caught you get all your hair in my headstock. It'd be
a disaster.
Pulling all your hair out.
Right?
God,
yeah, would not be fun. Anyway.
So what's been going on in the world of politics and current events recently? Obviously, we've not been here in a few weeks. Obviously, the Charlie Kirk thing was a big...
That was huge. And I am really shocked at the amount of people that I know on my social media who supported him. And further to that, shocked at the amount of people on my social media that not only supported him, but that were confused when people were like, no, this man's a racist. And in my opinion, a terrorist. He was inciting domestic terrorism. Then you get all sorts of people going, oh, he was a master he could debate. I'm like, no, he was 33 and specifically going into colleges and universities to try and debate people who were 18 and had no life experience.
You'll have to watch, have you seen it where he goes to Oxford? It's either Oxford or Cambridge, one of those. But
and then he gets destroyed?
Yeah, but they put him in his place, yeah. He tries and puts this one kid in his place and this one kid's really knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was a false pretense of Charlie Kirk being educated and smart. He wasn't.
And I don't care when people say you can't speak ill of the dead. It's like, why? The dead.
I certainly, and I dislike it when people are like, you're celebrating his death. No, I am not celebrating his death. And I do feel terribly for his wife and his children. But Charlie Kirk died the way Charlie Kirk lived, which was inciting violence. He died by his own violent words. He incited that and brought it to himself.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to celebrate anybody being killed, but eventually, like, you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Exactly. You live by the sword, you die by the sword, and that
still doesn't mean that obviously somebody's going to shoot you in the neck. But
do I think he deserved it? Absolutely not.
No.
But I don't feel sad about the fact that it happened either.
I mean, the worst thing as well, it's probably going to make these people even more driven and, wanting to push that cause forward because he's seen as a martyr now as well. So
I get what you're saying, but I think that in my opinion, only a small percentage of the population is going to call him a martyr.
Yeah.
He wasn't a martyr. He didn't die for any real political reason. He died because he wanted violence and thought violence was okay.
And like what Jimmy Kimmel said, there was nothing wrong with, like he said, the Republicans were just milking it for as much as they could, obviously. Mm-hmm. Which the Democrats, they obviously want to score political points with whatever's going on. Both parties are just as bad as each other, scoring political points.
Yep, they are. And, we've gotten to a point where nobody wants to work together for the common good. And it's like, okay.
And this is what's caused Donald Trump, because the Republican Party and the Democrats, and the same in England with the Tories and Labour, they've just forgot everybody and just done their own thing. And people get so pissed off that they vote people like Donald Trump. Nigel Farage is the equivalent in England. He's probably going to get in power now, which is called the Reform Party, because he's using the immigration ticket. So and everybody's sick of Labour and the Conservatives. So he's probably going to get into power next, probably.
But it bugs me no end. You are a landed immigrant. You are a permanent resident of Canada. I am the daughter of an immigrant.
But I'm white.
And my father was white, and that's why he didn't have the issues that most people have. But that's why I'm always a staunch supporter of immigration, because I wouldn't be alive if my father didn't emigrate to Canada from Scotland. Like, I am the first generation Canadian on my father's side. I'm like 8th generation Canadian on my mother's side.
We're all immigrants
we're all immigrants.
Especially the States. Like, that country was built on the back of immigrants. Like, people come in
that was the
from
whole
Ireland,
premise.
from Italy, from all over the world, building that country. It's like, you'll have to, if you guys got time, there's an English comedian called Stuart Lee, and he does this skit about, we've seen all this before, and he goes, about immigration. He goes, there's damn Anglo-Saxons, bringing their language that created this British culture.
Right,
And he goes, there's damn beaker folk, what was bringing their beakers? He goes, what was wrong with just cupping the water in your hands? And it's just again, it's cyclical, but it's just.
And the interesting thing to me too is, like, if you keep zooming out, a lot of these right-wing people are like, blah, 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 blah. We want to, like, white people are oppressed. No, white people are not oppressed. We're not oppressed in any way, shape, or form. And we only represent 7 to 8% of the world's population. Most of the world's population is brown. If you feel threatened by that, you should probably look inward, because like this just is what it is.
Like, I just don't get it. Like, you look at the premise of race, like, you're just judging somebody on the color of their skin.
Yeah.
What a ridiculous thing.
Absolutely.
When you break it down like that, it is, well, it's ridiculous anyway, but it's like, it's just insane. Why would the color of somebody's skin
makes no difference. No difference
what
whatsoever.
like, it's like, I'm sure thousands of years in the future, people are going to look back saying people used to like denegate people because of the color of the skin. What? How ridiculous.
But it's really interesting too, because I've been trying to wrap my head around everything that's happening and obviously not flip out. And the more I read about the United States and the more I understand how they started in 1776, the more I realize their whole constitution was literally based on wealthy people owning the enslaved.
Yeah.
It was literally white supremacy, and slave ownership was baked into the very framework of that society, and their white supremacy never went away. It never went away.
No, it was just, yeah, it just...
I'm not saying that Canada's white supremacy is gone either. My sister's first husband was an indigenous man, and her 3 biological children are indigenous. And the amount of times that my nephew as a teenager was stopped and accosted in downtown Victoria because he had a pair of Doc Martens and a laptop under his arm, but he was brown. So they wanted to know where he got that from and what are you doing in this neighborhood and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I freaking live right there.
I know, yeah. Funny enough, I work with this really sweet indigenous kid, and like big 6'9" dude, and he stands out. But he said he grew up in Manitoba, and he said he get profiled all the time.
All the time. All the time. You know, and he'd walk downtown. This is my nephew who's an indigenous man now. He would walk into a store downtown Victoria, and they would ask him to leave his backpack at the front of the store. And he's like, well, you're not asking anybody else. No, but we're asking you. Just because he's brown? Just because he's brown? Really? Okay. Like, it's amazing. And then there was a couple of times where, this is my ex-brother-in-law. I don't know where he is now. He was denied a restaurant because they wanted him to use a credit card, not a debit card. And he was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm paying.
Yeah.
No. And then there was a couple of times where he went into the Bank of Montreal and wanted to make change, and they were trying to accost him over where he got the cash from. And he's like, it doesn't matter where I got the cash from.
Whoa.
You can't ask me that question. I just want to make these small bills into big bills. I want you to trade this out for me. And they would accost him all the time, even though he had an account at that bank, but he was a brown man. And this was in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And it hasn't changed. It's 2025, and racism is still very much alive in Canada. It's still very much here.
It's funny, yeah. But I think our kids' generation, it's definitely getting slightly better. I mean,
yes,
it's always going to exist, unfortunately. But
I didn't know, and I have Indigenous friends that are my age that I went to school with. We were not taught in our curriculum about residential schools. We were not taught about Wenjack. I can't remember his first name. I should look it up. Obviously, I should know his name.
No idea.
He was 12 years old, and the Truth and Reconciliation Day, I believe, is I could have this wrong, so I want to make sure I'm right. Wenjack left the prairies. He left a residential school with nothing but the clothes on his back and tried to walk home, and he was found frozen to death on the train tracks at 12 years old. And so that is where a lot of these stories started coming through. He wasn't an anomaly. Lots of Indigenous kids died, went missing, were raped, brutalized, starved, experimented on, just because they were Indigenous. And I was not taught that. My generation was not taught that in school. My children's generation, my children are 14 and 16, is the first Canadian generation that's really been taught about that.
Well, I didn't even know it existed till I moved here, and then I was doing my social work degree, and then I had to do an Indigenous, like a cultural competency course, and I found out all about this residential school stuff that blew my mind. It's like, I didn't even know this existed.
No, and so it's more of our generation who's actually recognizing that Canada does have a genocide. We have this amazing national or international, rather, reputation of being this wonderful peacekeeping country, but nobody has spoken about the genocide that happened on Canadian soil, and it was a genocide. They literally rounded up Indigenous people and systematically tried to assimilate or eradicate them.
Yeah.
That is the definition of a genocide.
Can you imagine can you imagine your kids getting pulled out of your home and just getting dragged off?
But that's what's happening. It's happening in Chicago right now. It's happening in Palestine. It's happening in the Ukraine. It's happening everywhere. Genocides are continuing to happen. They're continuing to happen. And it feels weird to sit here in your basement in our lovely little life and complain about our shit when all this other crap is going on in other countries. And you're like, wow.
I mean, we're not getting bombed our way. It's ridiculous. Like, I always complain, like, we never have enough money, you never have enough toys, but you never have, like, but we're not getting bombed and our kids aren't being,
we have food in our cabinets in our fridge. Our kids are going to school. We don't have to worry about our kids getting shot up at school. I've never worried about that. Never, ever, ever have I ever been concerned for my children's safety at school by some stranger. That is not something that really happens in our neck of the woods in Canada, and I'm super grateful for that.
It doesn't happen in the UK either. Do you know why? Because we've got gun control.
Oh my God, really?
It's funny how that works, isn't it? You know, they had one school shooting in Dunblane in Scotland in, what was it, 1995, 96?
Yeah.
After that, handguns banned.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen. I can't remember the last school shooting in England. It's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you know, gun control, it's not going to stop. Shut up.
And I'm a family that my husband I have my hunting license. My husband has his PAL, his firearms acquisition license. So my home does have long rifles in it. It's not as if I'm not exposed or my children aren't exposed to that. Canada does have its own gun culture, but it's very much about safety.
It is. It's all about safety. Like,
it's all about safety. You would never find. You would even know where my guns were in my home because they're locked away. The ammunition's locked elsewhere. And actually, I don't even have access to the keys. My husband has told me...
Are they in the room that Ruby's in?
No, he keeps the gun cabinet keys at his work. And he's told me, he's like, look, because my husband's with the Coast Guard, if he for some reason doesn't make it home, I'm going to have to go to his work and rifle through his desk to try and find the cabinet to the gun safe, because otherwise I won't be able to get into the damn thing.
We just don't know, do you? He's just like...
we don't need to. And he said that. He goes, you guys don't need access to... And I was like, no, none of us need access to any of this.
But it's funny you talking about safety, because every time I've not been shooting that many times, been here, but everybody that I know here that has a gun is like so safety conscious.
Yes.
It's like, it's such a big thing. But like, going back to the gun control thing, which obviously an age-old argument, like the Constitution in the USA, like the right to bear arms was to stop people invading them. It's so out of date. Like, will that ever get changed, do you think?
I don't know. It's so baked into their culture.
Yeah.
But then it for me, if you zoom out of the constitutional argument and look at it from a philosophical argument, are you really free? Because you and I've talked about this before. I get nervous anytime I step on US soil because I know that there's probably half a dozen guns anywhere near me. And I have no idea who owns those or what they're capable of or why. And it's really unnerving for me to spend time in the United States on American soil because of that. That does not feel like freedom to me. Yeah. And then I've done other TikToks in the past about someone in the United States in an inner city, and this probably happens in Canada too, where they have bars on the windows and their doors and stuff. And I was like, man,
what kind of world are we living in where people have to put bars on the windows?
Right? Like, that doesn't sound like freedom to me. If you can't open your windows at night because you're worried about someone climbing in, that doesn't sound like freedom. Which
enrages me. I can't, thieves are the worst. It's like, you work hard for your own stuff, and then people just walk into your house and just take it.
Like, it's bizarre to me. I think there are just massive cultural differences. And I also it irks me no end when Americans try and pass it off like, well, Canada's just little America. No, we are vastly different cultures. We have different values. We are vastly different cultures. We are not the same. And Canadians don't want to be American because we are very different cultures. And I've never been to England, but I would assume that England and Canada also have vastly different cultures.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, people don't understand what the hell I'm saying half the time. And when I talk about things in England, people just look at me like I've got 3 heads. My wife still can't understand what I'm saying sometimes. No, but it is very laid back in England. Like, just but like I said, the gun thing. Like, there was a school shooting in Dunblane in Scotland, and all handguns were like, I mean, machine guns and shotguns don't exist apart from like people that shooting. But like,
and the same happened in Australia. They had one, and that was it. It was shut down. It was no more.
it does work then, doesn't it? Gun control does
Yes,
work.
it does. Because nobody is saying you shouldn't have them or couldn't or whatever. What I'm saying is you need to pass this psychological test and this safety knowledge. And then maybe if you can pass that, you can have it.
Like, you see that you've heard these stories of people going to shooting ranges and they never hold a gun and they hold a machine gun. All of a sudden it's like out of control and there's just shooting everywhere. And it's like, God, what an existence.
Well, I don't know how that it would be safe or why you would want to do that. Like, I don't. The other thing too is to remember statistically, if you have a gun, you're more likely to be the victim of gun violence. And that's probably because of what you've just said. It's so free in the United States to get one. You don't need any training to use it.
I've even like read stories where people, like toddlers, have gone into the parents' handbag, got a gun, and and it's gone off, and they've shot the parent. And it's like,
or shot themselves, or shot their sibling, or whatever. It's bizarre to me. I don't understand it. But then going further to that, I don't know if you seen the news in this last week of ICE. It might even be up for a Pulitzer Prize. At least people were trying to nominate it for a Pulitzer Prize. It's an ICE agent wearing like Converse, doesn't look like he's actually wearing fatigues of any kind. And he shot a priest point blank in the face with, I think, a rubber bullet. And it's caught, and it's a big photo of this priest getting hit in the face from an ICE agent.
Can you get killed get shot in the face with a rubber bullet?
Yes. Or the other people that are literally,
I don't know. Sorry, I'm not laughing. I'm just.
No, you're not. No. I never said that you were.
No, it's just I started to smile. It's like, it's not funny. It's just thinking.
It's absurd.
A rubber bullet.
And you're trying to wrap your head around the logic of any of that. Or how Fox News last week, they filmed and put up on the news a war crime, which was a protester who was sitting there, and she was face to face with riot ICE, and he decided he didn't like what she said, so he sprayed her point blank in the face with mace.
Oh, great.
You can't do that unprovoked. She didn't have any weapons in her hand. She just was nose to nose with him and was like, why are you here?
This ICE thing's so dangerous because, like, obviously they're just dragging people off the street, but there's also people like, just dressing up, pretending to be ICE and just dragging people off the street, and God knows what they're doing with people.
There are, I think the last one was that I read, and I would have to fact check it, but I think there's between 400 and 800 people at Alligator Alcatraz that have gone missing. Nobody knows where they are.
And it's like, you see like these ICE agents who are going to like Home Depot and stuff. It's like, these are people who just want to work, and you need. It's like.
But why are you fighting immigration, and then you're waiting and pouncing on people trying to go through the process at the immigration courts, and you're waiting there to detain them? That is Nazism. That's not right. It's really hard to become a citizen of another country. It's not easy.
Are we living in 2025? And it's like going back to the 1960s.
I think we're in 1939 right now in some regards. Like, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. And then I've told you before, I have a 16-year-old. And after Charlie Kirk's death, she was like, what does this mean? She wanted to have a serious conversation with me and be like, Mom, is this the turning point? Is this really what's happening? Like, is this World War II all over again? And I had to be really honest with her and say, I don't know, but I won't insult your intelligence and tell you a lie that it's going to be okay, because I have no idea how this is going to wash out. I have no idea.
I can't even think what it'll take to take World War III. It'd have to be something that God knows.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, and I can't feel guilty for bringing my kids into the world. I love them. I did it on purpose. I didn't go into parenthood with my eyes closed. But like, what fucking world are we leaving these kids? What are we doing?
Well, they're not going to be able to afford to buy a house. Their kids are probably living with them. It'd be like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the beginning, where everybody's like,
yes,
There's like the grandparents are sleeping in the
the
bed
one
with them.
bed,
Yeah.
4 of them in one bed, and you're like, yeah. I don't know.
It's depressing. It's like, what? Like, you think when our kids are grandparents, what is the world going to be like? It's going to be about 17,000 degrees. Everybody's just basically going to be poverty stricken, but there's going to be about 7 people in the world that've got all the money.
Well, yeah. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. It certainly makes for an interesting ride. And then all of that happening, I'm trying to not personally just be depressed and play ostrich. So like, I'm doing this podcast, we're doing the band, I'm doing making music. I'm trying to do something to not make myself completely
and it's nice
implode.
to kind of vent and stuff like this, just
well, because we can't be the only ones in our 40s floating in this much freaking financial water and looking at the state of the world going, what the fuck do we do now? What do we do? What do we do?
Anything fun going on in the world right now that we can talk about?
You know what? Is it Claudia Sheinbaum from Mexico, the Mexican president?
No idea.
Yeah. So the Mexican president, she's a woman. I think her name is Claudia Sheinbaum. She has reportedly lifted over 4 million Mexicans out of poverty by changing some employment legislation and welfare and she's doing really well.
See, it doesn't take much, does it?
No. But, and I've had this conversation with a few of my female friends. The older I get, the more I'm looking at it and I'm realizing, and this is just my opinion, it's women who have always created and maintained community. If you think about it, it's the women who were doing the bake sales and the church rummage sales and the dances and the scouts.
Basically
and
doing everything.
They were doing everything, and the women have done all this community fostering, and now the women they're tired and they don't want to do that, and we actually have to provide for ourselves. And the men don't really do the community.
No, they don't.
Men don't know how.
No, looking back, like when I was like a kid, my mum worked part-time, and like, yeah, they'd be doing like the bake sales and all that kind of stuff and the community stuff and the coffee mornings at the school and
and the salad bar and the field trips and the this, that, and the next thing. And like,
it's hard. Like you guys have got it hard. Like I said to Sarah, like poor Sarah's like, she says, I have to work full time, and then you expect to be a mum, and it's like, it's just hard.
I had that conversation with my husband last night, and
it's so hard.
It's so much, and I don't know how everybody's doing it. And
like my kids, I'm close to my kids, but kids always want the mother.
They always do.
And it's not fair, is it? It sucks. And it's like, just go to your dad. It's like,
he's right there. I love how they walk through the entire house. Mom, 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 mom.
Sarah says that
they
sometimes.
Walk past you, and they're like, "Can you make me a snack?" You're like, "Your father's just right over there."
No, we've had that a few times.
He's right there. I don't know why you passed him. Went 3 different rooms through the house to find me to ask me when he's available.
Mom, ask your dad.
Right? And Nick will literally be like, why did you walk right past me when I would have done this for you? I don't know. But, and it's not even your fault. It's not as if you guys are like pawning your kids off. You're not a dad like that. You're very involved with your children.
No, I love my kids to bits, but it's hard when all they want is the mum. And sometimes I get a bit like, oh, you don't want me? And it's like...
Nick has said that. Yeah?
Yeah.
They don't want me.
Yeah. I mean, that's just like every family, I guess. It's, And I've always been a mummy's boy, so it's, I'm 41 and I'm still like that.
I hope my son's
still hold my mum's hand.
Boy. I love it.
Yeah, people look at me like, look at that lunatic.
No, it's lovely to be a mama's boy.
They're codependent, those two.
Probably.
Yeah. What else is going on in the world that's joyous and happy? I can't think of it. It all seems to be depressing. And
it's very depressing. I'm trying to make my own way.
That's good while we're like playing in a band. Like I've been wanting to play in the music band since I moved here, but it just never seemed to.
But you can't when your kids are wee.
Yeah, it was timing. Like I was doing schooling and it just trying to get my career established, and now it's I've got this time and it's great.
We are having fun.
Yeah.
I never thought in a million years that if you had told me that I was going to do a Michael Jackson song, I would have been like, the hell?
You should get that jacket.
I did Powell River. I'm not like, I don't know. I would love to, but.
Did you try Monster Mash?
No, I haven't tried it yet.
Who requests Monster Mash?
I don't know, but I don't want to play that song. I just don't want to do it.
I'm sorry, but yeah, like it's like Monster Mash. Well, like there's a lot of other cool Halloween songs, but Monster Mash.
I think it's probably because it's 4 chords and easy to do.
Monster Mash. Are you going to sing it like that?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, let's play like Ghostbusters and stuff, which we
Well,
are
we're
going to
gonna
play.
play.
But I mean, like, who requests Monster Mash?
I don't know.
That's what happens when you get, you get people all the time. Can you play this song? It's like, yeah.
So that drunk guy on the 27th, the one who told me that he wouldn't take me home because I wasn't over 5'3", and I was
the one that wanted you to put to shout about his friend coming out?
That was a different guy. That was a different guy. One guy came up to me and told me he would give me $20 if I would announce that it was his friend's coming out party, and I was like,
maybe you could do that.
Does your friend know it's his coming out party?
Sorry,
like,
I've just outed him and didn't want me to out him.
But there was like at a coming out party, you would expect there to be like gay balloons and shit, and that wasn't. It was just some asshole trying to like play a funny on his friend, and I was like, yeah, but we're not like being gay is not the butt of any jokes anymore. Like that's passé. No, I'm not doing that. No, it was the other guy that was tall, and he was there for our whole set on the 27th. Thought we were really awesome. He came up to me. He's like, if I give you $100, can you play these 5 songs? And I was like, that's not the way that this works. I have a set list.
But what are the songs?
Right? Like,
do we play any of these songs?
I don't know. It was just, and then he came up to me afterwards and he was like, that set was so great. He's 3 sheets to the wind. And I was like, high five. And then he's like, wait a minute.
Was it the really tall guy?
Yes.
Oh yeah, he was weird.
So he came up and he's like, whoa, why are your hands so small? And I was like, I'm sorry. He's like, your hands are so small. Put them next to mine. I was like, okay. So he's like, why are you so small? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, how small are you? I'm like, I'm 5'1". He's like, whoa, no, I don't do women under 5'3". And I was like, what do you think that I was available for you to do? Like,
not only that, what a strange thing to say to somebody when you don't even know. Like, I wouldn't even say to somebody that I know, but like, thank
you for fancying me, but that's not really the way.
Nice to meet you. You're way too small for me to have sex with. What? People, like,
it was the most bizarre thing.
I find it bizarre that somebody thinks that's an okay conversation to have with somebody, A, in general, and B, somebody you've never met.
No, but that's typical of how men talk to women. That's very, it doesn't, yes, does not surprise me at all. For some reason,
I wouldn't dream of talking to people like that.
A lot of men really do assume that women exist solely for their sexual perversion, solely for that reason. And I literally thought to my head, I'm like, I am not a menu item. Just because I exist and you can see my existence does not mean I am an item that you can pick off and pay for. That's not a thing. What?
That's really, I mean, good for you for like taking that well, because that's just really, but yeah.
But it's freaking
again, it's a sign
standard. Like, I don't know.
But it shouldn't have, but how, but that's sad though, isn't it? That's the standard response from people.
Yeah. 100%. It's just bizarre. And then, because I said it on Threads and I had a whole bunch of guys pop up and be like, well, no, it's a compliment. And I don't know why you're so offended because he's telling you he likes you. I'm like, this was an unsolicited conversation. He came up to me to tell me he loved my set. I said, thank you very much. Offered him a high five. And then he decided to comment on my body and whether or not I was fuckable for like, I don't know this man. I'd never had a conversation with him. I'd never met him before. This was the first frickin' time we'd actually had any type of an interaction whatsoever. And that is where his brain went. And then people were like, well, he was drunk. I was like, we are not making excuses for drunk men.
It was the alcohol talking.
If you cannot behave, then you shouldn't go out. Like, I'm not responsible for how that man perceives me or what comes out of his mouth. And I didn't, even though my tits were hanging out, I'm entitled to have my tits out. They're mine.
Okay, you do you.
They're mine.
I'm no judgment here.
No, but I don't understand why men think that because I've put my body on display that they then have access to it.
Yeah, it's funny how people see that.
It's not an invitation. It's not an invitation to think that you can sleep with me. I thought it was funny where you were like, Katie, I can't look you in the eyes. I have F cups. So like if I'm going to have my boobs out, they're going to get looked at. And I know that. So that's, part of the reason why I do it. But I can control that, whether or not I want to have my tits out.
Yeah, it's funny how men think that, don't they? When they think if women are wearing a short skirt or showing a bit of flesh, they think, they're up for it and they want, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's literally because I want to put that on and I'm feeling good about myself. And I love, Iona Mayer, who is the rugby player. She's the American rugby player. She's been on the cover of Sports Illustrated, et cetera, et cetera. She is a professional athlete and a rugby player, and she looks like a rugby player. She's got the shoulders. She works out. She's very muscular for a woman, has no chest. And she was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. And then she was talking about
Who's this?
Iona Mayer.
Iona Mayer, okay.
Beautiful woman, very much an athlete. And she was talking about how she gets a lot of hate and flack because she does not have a feminine body, but she continues to put herself out there in these types of clothing and bathing suits and what have you, because women are not a monolith. We have all sorts of different body types and desires and what have you. And she was quoted on a podcast saying, no, if I have my tits out, it's for the other girls, because we hype each other up. Like if you see one of your friends who is looking fly, you're going to compliment the shit out of her. You'd be like, yes, because you know that she's already experienced her own self-esteem and body dysmorphia. And so she's feeling really good and she's putting herself out there. And you're like, dude, yes, babe. Yes, babe. Yes. That's what it's about. It's about confidence. It's not about trying to elicit male attention. Dick is abundant. Dick is overabundant and therefore low value. Sorry, but it is. It's so oversaturated.
The market is oversaturated.
The market is oversaturated. If you have a dick, it means nothing because
there's too many.
There's too many.
They don't mean as much now.
They don't. But you know what does mean something? Somebody who plans a date, somebody who is thoughtful, somebody who checks in on you, somebody with emotional intelligence, somebody with substance and conversation who wants to actually talk to you as a human being and wants to know your interests and your life. That is tricky to find.
Or somebody that wants to go and get hammered with you at the bar.
Who wants to go get hammered with you?
No, just people that want to have fun. I don't even drink much these days.
No, we don't.
God, I used to be back in the day when we'd be out till like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
I'm puffy now. I'm so.
Or even the gigs when we finish at 1 o'clock and then we're home at say 2:30 and then I'm wide awake till 4:30 and then the kids are up at 7 and it's just like.
See, my kids are teenagers now, so my kids will sleep until 10:30 or 11.
That's good.
So I usually after a gig can't get to sleep until like 4 anyway. So I'll sleep from 4 till 8, force myself to get up, have a cup of coffee, and then I'll kind of like putter around the house. But it'll be 7 p.m. where I'll be like, okay, everybody, peace out. I'll see you at 7 in the morning. So I'll sleep for like 12 hours.
Yeah. God, there's back-to-back nights though. I just don't know how. I don't know how people do it.
That was hard.
I'm a parent these days.
Right?
Can't do it.
Like, they're not going to stop. They always want hungry. They always want their laundry done. You're like, oh,
fucking kids.
I need a nanny. No, I don't. My kids are old now, but I could use a housekeeper.
Get George. George is kind of the nanny, isn't he?
No. That night that we were up at the club at the casino, I offered to have George stay with my kids, and my kids declined because they're 16 and 14. So they actually spent the night by themselves.
They're probably looking after George.
They would have been. Yeah.
Bless him.
He's so bloody cute.
Bless him.
Anyway.